In this 25th anniversary year of September 11th, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation continues to honor America's heroes. Heroes like Fire Lieutenant Michael Wells, who was inspired by 9/11 to serve his community. After 14 dedicated years of service, he lost his battle with occupational cancer, leaving behind his wife, Katie, and their 3 children. Tunnel to Towers honored Lieutenant Wells by paying off the family's mortgage in recognition of his sacrifices. Donate $11 monthly and amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Go to T2T.org.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi. Okay, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast. Breaking news, WABC.
Well, here it is again, guys. James Comey, former FBI director, has been indicted for a second time. This one over his 8647 post. Remember the shell formation there in North Carolina on the beach that he just happened to stumble upon. And now it is considered a threat to the president. Well, joining us now to talk about all of this is great constitutional law expert, Professor Alan Dershowitz. Professor, your reaction to this indictment, and FBI Director James Comey should know better. I mean, he was like, I don't know what 8647 means. I know what 86, when you say 86 that, and then 47, of course, he's the 47th president.
Well, he certainly should have known that there would be some people who would interpret it as 86, the 47th president, meaning, get rid of him in an illegal fashion. This is going to be an uphill claim for the Justice Department because ambiguities in criminal cases have to be resolved in favor of the defendant. And the instruction will be, if reasonable people could disagree as to the meaning of it, you must use the concept of lenity. Lenity means you resolve doubts in favor of the defendant. So if I were betting widows and orphans money that I couldn't afford to lose, I would probably bet against there being a conviction in this case. That doesn't mean that what Comey did was the right thing. He should have known better.
Yeah, he clearly should have known better. I mean, is there anybody out there who buys it when he says, I didn't know what that meant? I mean, you talk to any waiter and when somebody says, hey, 86 that, it means get rid of it.
Yeah. Well, if a gangster says 86, it means something different than when a waiter says 86. So the question is, when you find seashells on the beach, I just don't think that a jury is going to conclude beyond a reasonable doubt that he necessarily intended for the president to be harmed rather than to be gotten rid of. Now, he admits that he knew that 8647 means get the hell rid of this president, but he thinks the reasonable interpretation is get rid of him in the way that a restaurant gets rid of a noisy consumer or customer. So, I don't think we're going to get a conviction in this case. Maybe there'll be another indictment which goes after him on some of the Russia stuff and some of the other stuff. Remember, the first indictment wasn't dismissed on the merits. It was dismissed because of questions about whether the prosecutor was appropriately appointed. So they could go back to that. And so I don't think that Comey's troubles are done, but I don't think his biggest problem is 8647.
Is seashells.
I think he's not going to go to prison on that one. Now, what surprised me is that the grand jury issued an arrest warrant. That's shocking. You never get arrest warrants in cases like this. Here you have a distinguished lawyer who obviously is going to surrender. He's not going to run away. So he should be presumed innocent and treated as a presumptively innocent person and not put in jail pending the trial. He'll be allowed out on bail, probably on his own recognizance without even having to post any money.
By the way, that is surprising. But also, look, they went after Roger Stone and all these others. Judge Weinberg.
Of course, yeah.
Yep.
Alan, I agree with you on the merits. I also, frankly, don't think this case should ever be presented to a grand jury. I think it puts the Trump administration in a situation that they look like they're engaging in their own version of lawfare. I didn't like it when the Biden people did it, and I don't like it when the Trump people do it. So I would have argued against it if I was an insider.
I did. I spoke in Mar-a-Lago before Trump was sworn in at an event about lawfare, and Trump came to the event, and I said, please don't do to the Democrats what they've done to you. Please, let's lay down arms here. Let's declare a disarmament. Let's stop weaponizing the criminal justice system. And I think I saw him nod his head in agreement. But, that could be my wishful thinking. But, obviously the Justice Department under the new acting Attorney General is going to be very, very tough. Look, Mondi was very tough also. So, are there better things to do with the Justice Department resources than go after shells? I suspect so.
Yeah, let me raise what I think is an important case. I'd like to get your thoughts on it.
Sure.
There's a case coming out of the Second Circuit. It's under the anti-terrorism statute.
Oh, I've read that case. It's horrible. It's horrible.
Would you please explain? Because I read that and I said, what did this judge do? And you had, I don't know about her. I know about Rakoff. He's supposed to be a relatively smart guy, and I know
he's a very smart guy. I've known him.
Right, and I used to.
School.
Right.
Yeah.
So Rakoff, I was surprised, but I think the dissent.
Yeah, went along.
I think the dissent. Would you explain to our listeners why this is so important?
Well, it is important because this is a guy who clearly was doing what he believed ISIS wanted him to do in attempting to kill people, and the court gave an extremely narrow definition of what it means basically to work for or with a terrorist group. The judge suggests that you have to actually be in contact with them rather than be influenced by them. I think first of all, that's very narrow under existing law. But second, if it is existing law, it ought to be amended. Because when you have somebody who says, look, I'm doing it for ISIS, I've seen their posts, I've seen their social stuff, I believe in them, I'm doing it for ISIS, I think it's reasonable for a jury to conclude.
And the jury did. And the jury did.
And the jury did, and it was reversed. It was reversed on appeal. So I think to be absolutely safe, unless the Supreme Court reverses this, Congress, and it should be pretty unanimous, should amend the statute to say that if the person says that he's doing it for ISIS, you have to take him at his word.
I agree.
Professor Dershowitz, thank you so much for coming on. And
always my pleasure. Thank you.
The playoffs are here, and you can predict the action all the way to the finals with FanDuel Predicts. Predict the spread, the total points, and even the game-winning moments that make the playoffs. Sign up and get a $25 bonus with FanDuel Predicts.
Offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant. 18-plus bonus is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Trading derivatives involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with their consumer protection tools. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/predicts/bonus-offer-terms.